Greetings to all those who need a break from life and have taken the time to let me hold your ear hostage for a short period of time. Welcome to Groove with Portia, the extended QuaranTOLD edition. I'm your host, Portia Booker, and yes, this is my real name. Groove with Portia targets those who are curious, eager, and hungry for new information that can aid in their personal and professional development. Someone once told me, if you want to know something, ask. The answer is always no until you do. I ask, and I bring back the answer in the form of an expert. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Portia_the_producer. Once again, that's Portia_the_producer. Before I dive into my topic for today, I want to introduce my guest. Welcome, Miss Porscha Lusk, owner of Portia's Heart to Heart Home Care. Welcome, Portia.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me, Portia. I always love having somebody else whose also name is Portia because it's always fun, right? Get kind of like the different tone and different personality going just to see how much they mimic me, right? Of course.
Exactly. You don't hear that a lot.
No, you don't. You do not meet too many people named Portia, so it's always fun to have people on that have my same name. So you win the door prize for the day. So I'm going to give a little background on who Porscha Lusk is. So Portia has been an LPN, a licensed practical nurse, for 6 years. She loves being around the elderly. In 2019, she started Portia's Heart to Heart Home Care, her home health business. Portia is also a mother to a 10-year-old little girl. She believes when you love what you do for a living, it feels like you never worked a day. I agree with that logic, Portia. I do.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you should always love what you do. I mean, it's something that, like I said, it feels like you never worked. It's a passion of yours.
I make the joke all the time whenever I'm at work, even though I work remotely now. I say, who works? I've never worked.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
I don't like the word.
Yeah, I'm allergic to that word, work. I mean, because I make fun out of every job that I've ever had. I mean, and I've had a slew of careers. I've worked at GameStop. I've worked in nonprofit. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked in telecommunications. I've worked in TV. I've done radio. I mean, so I have a wide range of careers that I've dived into. But even though some jobs I would say I didn't care for 100%, but I mean, what jobs do you? It's a job.
It's a job.
I always learned something, and I always had fun all the time. One of the things that kept me going every day was the mentality that every day is Friday. So I don't know if other people, I don't know if other people can relate there, but that's just how I do it. Every day is Friday. I've always had that thought process since I was 19 years old when I first started working. So,
but you know what, Portia, that's a smart way of looking at it because I mean, who can't wait till Friday come? I mean, I know when Monday come, I don't even speak on it because Monday is like, why? Why is there a Monday, right?
Why is there a Monday? Well, that's why I think some jobs have opted into the idea of having three-day weekends. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, just to avoid the mundane of Monday. But I'm trying to change that attitude around Monday because Monday is the start of your week. It's the motivation for you to get through the week and to accomplish whatever little goals, whether how small or how big they could be. I mean, heck, it could be as small as just getting somebody to come out and look at your washer. I mean, so, every Monday I try to do a Motivation Monday post to, encourage people, just change the lingo, change your mindset about Monday. Monday doesn't have to be mundane. It can be marvelous. It can be wonderful. That's just my philosophy.
Well, I like it. I need to take heed, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm glad to have you on the show, Portia. So I'm going to start off with our intro topic, which kind of leads into what our topic of the day will be. So August is National Black Business Month, and we recognize the Black-owned businesses across the country. Black business owners account for about 10% of U.S. businesses and about 30% of all minority-owned businesses. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, that amounts to approximately 2 million companies owned by African Americans. Nearly 40% of Black-owned businesses are in healthcare and social assistance, repair and maintenance, and personal and laundry services. Other categories include advertising firms, auto dealerships, consulting services, restaurants, barbershops, beauty salons, and much more. And Portia, it's good to have you on because you are a minority business owner. You've had your business open since 2019. And, you know, considering what we're currently in right now, this revolutionary period is what I've called it on my other podcasts and different interviews I've done. You know, what a wonderful time it is to be a minority business owner, especially since we are working towards changes, not just in legislature, but also in the communities and also in law enforcement, you know, to recognize African Americans as a people and not just as, you know, violent criminals and whatever other stereotypes are associated with us.
Yes.
I mean, because when I sometimes think about businesses, especially Black owned businesses, you grew up hearing the stereotypes. Oh, don't patronize, they steal, don't do this. But I've seen so many great African American businesses, some, you know, here in Cleveland, that are doing amazing. And they replicate that phrase, excellence in action.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot.
It does. It does, actually. I just actually went to an event the past weekend. It was a Black business event. And when I was there, it was just beautiful. I've seen, you know, you have so many different Black businesses opening up things that, I mean, some things you wouldn't even think of. But I mean, when I say it was a beautiful event, it was beautiful. You have, you know, you have authors, fitness trainers, design, what was that, t-shirt makers. It was just so many different businesses, and just to see them all together and just, you know, seeing the excellence of it, it was beautiful.
And for you, Portia, considering that you are a minority business owner, I mean, what do you see that is currently working for you? And also, what do you see that could potentially be improved moving forward when it comes to minority business owners?
Well, just overall, the hunger for it, wanting to do something that's your passion that you always wanted to do. That works for me, because taking care of others is something I always just wanted to do. So by me being a nurse, you know, what better way, okay, to be or to become an entrepreneur is to do something that you would want to do, or that you always had a passion for doing. So I think just basically having that and knowing what you want to do and going forth with it, it could help a lot of people. I mean, you know, potential entrepreneurs.
And Portia, you know, let's kind of dive in. What made you want to open up your home care business?
Well, I've been a nurse for about 6 years now, and I've been in nurse management the whole 6 years. And so, you know, kind of working behind the scene in nurse management, just seeing, you know, different things, just learning new things behind the scenes, not only being on the floor as well. I have had hands-on care as a nurse as well, but just being behind the scenes as a nurse manager, it brought a lot of, it just enlightened me on a few things. So I said, you know what, this is something I can do for myself, you know, and I learned a lot from every job I had as a nurse manager. It has brought me to where I am now. So I'm grateful for it. But, you know, I just said, I want to open up my own thing. I want to do my own thing. And from what I have learned over the years, I just took that and kind of just build on it. And that's how I came up with my own home care.
And I think too, Portia, when it comes to any entrepreneur, you have to be willing to take that risk, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big risk, but I feel like if you believe in yourself, you should go for it. Life is a risk. Any choice you make is going to be a risk, going to be a consequence. It's going to be a success. I mean, it's just a risk and all. So why not risk and do something that, you know, you really want to do, and do it for yourself or for your family?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of us, Portia, get stuck in that boat of we love what we do, but it's not going to bring us any money. For example, people who are artists, you know, they have the term starving artists for a reason, because a lot of them, they're phenomenal. Their work is beautiful, whether it's, you know, they're a tattoo artist, or, you know, they're a painter or an airbrush, whatever their medium is of choice, they have a creative outlet, but their creativity is not guaranteed that income. They have to really work to build that following, to build that rapport with the right people in order to bring in that income. That's what I think is the problem with a lot of people today, is that they get stuck in that societal mindset or that society standard of you have to get a real job. What is, I mean, to me, a job is temporary.
Yeah, it is. That's true. It is temporary. And, my mom always told me, when you're doing something that you love doing and, you're trying to make a business out of it, don't look for the money, because that will come eventually. We all have to make a living. We all have bills to pay and things like that. So, if you do have a job, or if you're, have a 9 to 5, continue to do so to take care of yourself, but don't never stop what you want to do at heart, because eventually the money will come, once you're doing it out of love and passion and because it's something you like to do, the money will come behind it. So never kind of chase the money or think of the money first when you're doing something that you want to do, or when you're opening up a business.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes where people fall into that boat as well. They want the money so bad, but don't get me wrong, money is good. It buys you things, it gives you access to a lot. But to me, at the end of the day, if I'm making all this money and I'm not happy, then what?
That makes no sense, right? And people think, how can you not be happy? You have all this money. Well, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, true. You know what, Portia? True story. And I'm gonna be transparent for a minute. I actually had a job a few years ago where I made, now considering my age, I made about close to 50,000 a year. Okay, at this job. And a lot of my friends told me I was crazy. They told me I was crazy that I walked away from this $50,000 job. And I said, why was I crazy for walking away from something that was making me physically sick? I said, every time I was taking PTO, I was in the bed, sleep.
Yes. I mean, so what good is it? Like you said, if you're physically sick and you're in the bed sick, I mean, that's miserable. Like, what good is it to continue something like that? So I don't think you were crazy at all.
No, I'm happy I walked away from it. I took, a 20-something $1,000 pay cut from walking away, but to me, the payout was greater than staying, because I would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, your health is first.
And I tell people this story all the time, that my faith in God is very strong. And I'm very open about that, because the day that I decided to walk away from that job, God told me to walk away. He said, Portia, you will leave this job today. You will not go back on Monday. And I thought I was hearing stuff. I really did. When I was sitting there, I'm like, who is talking to me?
Yeah, believe me, I get that a lot. I know.
And I'm just like, I'm looking around, and I said, okay, maybe I'm just hearing stuff. But then, I was not just hearing stuff. It came back a second time. God said, you will walk away. And I said, okay.
Yeah, he would tell you. He would, especially when, like you said, you're a woman of God, you have that relationship with him. And when you have that relationship with him, he will directly tell you exactly what needs to be done. So,
and I did. I listened. I walked away. I went through my little regret period, like we always do. Like, oh, did I make the right decision? Maybe I should have stayed longer. Maybe this could have worked out. All the things we put ourselves through.
Exactly.
Instead of just trusting the process, especially, like I said, leaning on God's trust and judgment, just walking away. I mean, it took me a little while, don't get me wrong, to accept the answer from God. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a lot happier doing what I'm doing. Like, yeah, where I work at now, I love my hours. I have the best hours in the world. Who wouldn't complain of having 6 to 2:30, Monday through Friday?
Yeah, that's a lovely schedule. And like you said, you walked away from something, but you got something better in return. So
yeah, I have more time to, do this. And, educate other people and share my knowledge, and also expose them to people such as yourself, Portia, who took that leap of faith, opened up their own business, and it's growing. So I encourage people to really invest in yourself, especially right now when the economy's kind of slowed down. There's not a lot of quote unquote going out opportunities. So I'd say, hey, what better way to soak up your time than to invest in yourself?
Exactly. And I'm grateful that you're doing what you're doing, and having people like me and other business owners and other entrepreneurs on. I'm grateful for you. So I appreciate it.
No, I thank you definitely for coming on and accepting my invitation. So Portia, what kind of sparked your interest in becoming a nurse or pursuing a career in nursing?
Well, I have to say, it's always been in me since a little girl to naturally just want to take care of other people. And my mother used to always say, she said when I was younger, when I was first born, actually, she used to tell people, my daughter is going to be a nurse. And so I could say she spoke it into existence, really. So thanks, Mom. I could say that. But my grandmother, my nana, she was a diabetic, and she used to have to take insulin injections. And so at the age of like 9 or 10, she used to ask me to give her insulin injections. And, scared the mess out of me at first, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But she would just show me, like, just do this. And, on the count of 3, just go ahead and get it over with. So the count of 3, she said, did you do it? I said, I gave it to you already. And she said, I didn't even feel anything. So I think that right there just like kind of molded me into being that nurse, and just having a heart and caring for others is just something that was always in me.
Well, and then your mom spoke it into existence. Then also, you got practice from a young age with your nana.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the doctor sometimes, and see, I'm weird. I have to watch when the nurse is drawing my blood, or I get anxious. I need to see your hands. I need to see the needle. Like, people are like, how can you watch that? I need to see.
I don't blame you. You're smart. So I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's like random digression. A friend of mine told her I had a dream that I went to McDonald's one time, which I don't eat there, but I had a dream that I went into a McDonald's and they had all the curtains pulled in the back, where the only thing you could see was the people at the cash register. You couldn't see any production behind the curtain. This was a dream I had. And so I was telling my friend, I was like, I go up to the counter and I'm like, what's going on back there? Oh, we're doing construction, but we'll have your food out.
We're doing construction back there.
Like, wait a minute. So I have the same concept and feeling about when I'm getting blood work done. I need to see you take that needle out of the pack. I need to see you put it in my arm. Like, I know this may gross some people out, not me.
Yeah, that's very smart.
I worked in healthcare for 10 years. I've seen it all.
I bet. Like, hey, you see what's going on. If you have a dream about it, do you know it's real?
Yeah. And to this day, I still get a kick out of that, because the day that I go into a McDonald's to see that, I will never eat there.
I bet. If I see this, I'm like, okay, I remember Portia told me her dream. I would not eat from a McDonald's where I can't see anything going on in the back either.
Right? Like, no, thank you. You hiding something back there? Putting some extra seasonings on my burger, my not Whopper, but what your McChicken or chicken nuggets? I don't know.
Exactly.
Whatever. So, Portia, let's talk about your business, Portia's Heart to Heart Home Care. You just opened it in 2019. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about some of the services that your business offers?
Yes. So Portia's Heart to Heart Home Care is a non-medical home care. We've been open for about a year and a half now. So we assist with the elderly, the post-surgery client, disabled, and veteran clients. And we help them with activities of daily living, which we call those ADLs. And we help with dressing, bathing, meal preparations, grooming, medication reminders, light housekeeping, and we also help with transportation to doctor's appointment and dialysis.
That's amazing. You guys are kind of like an all-in-one everything.
Yeah, we try to be. I mean, my thing is we want to keep the client or the resident in their home because that's where they're most comfortable. Don't get me wrong, I love that we have nursing homes and assisted livings as well, to help the elderly. However, I just think when a person is in their home, they're just more comfortable, they're more at ease, and it helps them even live longer sometimes when they're in an environment that they know they're familiar with.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, that goes into my next question too, Portia. Considering that we are still in the quote unquote era of COVID, what precautions kind of is your business taking with that?
We follow the same precautions as the CDC, and that's the Centers for Disease and Control Prevention. And what we're doing, we're making sure that our caregivers are being screened, that they're wearing masks and gloves, that they're carrying hand sanitizer as well. And we ask that anyone experiencing any symptoms, that could be client or caregiver, that they call the office immediately. And we do that so therefore we could pull the caregiver out of the home immediately. We want to keep everyone safe, the client and the caregiver.
Well, absolutely. I mean, because you have to make sure that your company is properly staffed. You also don't want your clients to be spreading germs to their loved ones, so there's kind of like a collective of protocols that need to be followed.
Yes, definitely. And it's very important that we follow those, and especially in the times that we're in now with this COVID. And, you just want to be careful, just like you said, of spreading bacteria or, any type of germs at this moment. And just period, because, I mean, you want to stay clean, stay sanitized.
Well, absolutely. And Portia, how has your business been going since the country first kind of shut down? How is it going? Did you see an influx of clients, or did you keep kind of like the same, or where's your business at as far as like clients and whatnot?
I've been blessed to have seen more clients in this pandemic that we're in, which, like I said, I've been very blessed. It's been challenging personally and professionally. It's been bittersweet, but I'm glad that, we're all coming together, standing for what's right. I just hate that it takes these tragic situations to occur. But, with COVID, if it affects one of us, it affects all of us. And it has brought more anxiety upon the world, on top of what we got going on with this protesting and things. So it's been challenging, but I can say through it all, I've been very blessed, and the business been blessed to have, gained new clients.
Well, yes, and that's the good thing. I mean, just because the country shut down, you didn't have to. Like a lot of big companies were allowing their workers to work remotely. Some places unfortunately did have to shut down, like some of my friends who are personal trainers. They couldn't do their normal workouts at their gyms. Restaurants had to shut down, and a lot of people who are waitresses and bartenders and such, they really felt the crunch of the country shutting down.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you were able to still do what you love and also continue to provide services to people who especially need it right now. I think we need to, with everything going on from the protests to COVID and also this being an election year, we need to add a little bit more compassion and open arms to people.
Definitely.
Because everybody is struggling on their own, whether it's, financially, like you said, with anxiety from the protest, from COVID, especially I have a parent who has a suppressed immune system. So I'm very leery about nobody in, nobody out.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd have to be.
So I can completely understand that. And, Portia, let's kind of talk about that, the challenges from the protests. I mean, were you able to attend any of the protests here in Cleveland, or, what's kind of like your thoughts on that?
No, I wasn't able to attend any. I'm for it. because I understand the meaning behind it and why they are out there protesting. I understand it completely. However, I'm just not for any violence. Now, the silent protest, yes, I'm definitely with it. I understand it. Like I said, I understand the meaning, the reason why, the protest is going on. It's just, we all want it to be safe. We all want to be safe and, no violence. And that's not something that we're encouraging, but I'm kind of 50-50 on it. But no, I haven't went to any protests.
I had the opportunity to watch one of my friends on Facebook, her live feed of the protests in downtown. And what I really liked was seeing diversity when it came to the protests. It wasn't just all Black people. It wasn't just all whites. It wasn't just all Hispanics. It was everybody. And, in that sense, to me, it's like, why can't everybody get the picture?
Exactly.
Why do we have so much division? And I understand that, a lot of people, we all have an opinion. We all do. But my question is, how can you continue to support something that you know is wrong?
Exactly.
What happened to the golden rule of treat others as you wish to be treated? When this type of thing has been going on, especially for people of color, whether you're African American, Latino, Haitian, Jamaican, wherever, this type of thing has been going on for over 400 years. And it takes until 2020 for us to, for things to kind of shake up.
Exactly. Yeah. And why has it taken so long? That's something I would love to know too, because like you said, it's been going on for over 400 years. And why now? What makes a difference now that, this has really been one of the biggest movements. And, I'm thankful for it, but why did we have to come this far to get where we are now? And that's a question I think a lot of us want answers to.
Well, yes, I agree. And, hashtag Black Lives Matter to, the founders of that organization, thank you guys for what you did. And one thing I can say too, Portia, is that I'm very proud of the young people who were, in this. They are part of history. But also, they stood their ground for what they believed in. Now, I'm against, all the violent stuff. I don't, I'm not for that. But to protest peacefully, to me, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And that's true courage to me from them to stand up to that, considering that every single day you hear about somebody getting shot or, killed by a police officer.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's very courageous, especially being, of the younger generation, and it could be scary. I mean, look what's all that's going on, but I definitely want to say thank you and support. Give support as well, because it's not a small thing, and to go out there and to stand up for something and to fight for what that's right. I mean, that's very courageous of them. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not for violent protests, but I'm all for standing for what you believe in.
Absolutely. And that's what I think too a lot of people don't do today, is they don't stand for their truth or what they believe in. And I feel like if more people did that, the world could change.
Yes, I agree.
So Portia, we've kind of had this discussion about your business and kind of like why you opened it. But I think, let's kind of like break down some of the, maybe common questions people may have and may not understand. So how does home care work?
So with home care, you're more focusing on your activities of daily living. So with that being said, you're focusing on, your bathing, your grooming, helping clients get dressed, or helping them prepare a meal or making a meal for them. like housekeeping, doing a little laundry, sweeping the floor, transportation if needed. So with home care, you're focusing, like I said, more of your ADLs, which is activities of daily living, the things we do every day.
And that's cool. I mean, I'm glad that this service is available. And this also leads to my next question too. Is home care just for, the areas that you said, for veterans, for people who are, trying to recover from maybe post-surgical, even, people who are disabled? Could, somebody who is a POA of somebody who is, fits into that category, can they also utilize a home care service as well?
Yes, definitely. They can utilize the home service as well. And I want to, because it's a difference between home health care and home care. And so, just so the listeners can know, with home health care, it's helping basically older adults live independently as long as possible. And even if they have an illness or injury. But with home health care, you have more of your healthcare providers involved, such as your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, your skilled nursing. And like I mentioned before, with home care, it's more focusing on your activities of daily living. So either or, with home health care or home care, some of the clients may have a POA, power of attorney, and you may just need to speak with them about the care of their loved one. Or the client, they might could speak on their own and represent themselves, and you could speak with them about the care that they need. So it just kind of depends, but that's the difference between the two of them.
And Portia, if one of our listeners was maybe interested in, potentially utilizing your services, is there a website, email address, or phone number they can contact?
Yes, you can go on our website at www.porschashearttohearthomecare.com. That's PORSCHAS heart2TO heart.com. And they can also, email address is info at porschashearttoheart.com, and that's PORSCHAS.
Thank you, Portia. Definitely, if anybody is interested, definitely check out those, links and things that Portia has provided. So, Portia, here's another kind of like question that's been kind of digging around. How long can someone utilize home care services? Like, is there like a contract of a year? Is it a month-to-month thing, or how does that work?
They can actually have home care service for a lifetime or until their expiration date. It just kind of depends on the client, and it's their choice. Like with my client agreements, I give them a choice of, having home care for 1 year, 6 months, or on an as needed basis. So home care, yeah, it can go for a lifetime.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up that you don't have a restriction on, if the client wants kind of a as needed, a year, 6 months. I mean, that's good to know, because I think some people may think, oh, I have to sign up for a year,
Mm-hmm.
because some places do a minimum of maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year.
And see, my thing, I hate the word contracts because I feel like it's kind of make it seem like you're stuck in something. And so since I don't like it myself, so I call, my contracts client agreements. And it's just an agreement that the client and the home care agrees upon as far as, the length of the services and the hourly rate and things like that. But I feel like people should never feel like they're stuck in something. And I don't want any of my clients to feel that way. So I'll always give them a choice, and they can always opt out. They have to give us at least a 48-hour notice, if they want to stop the agreement or not. But yeah, the contract word, I'm not too fond of.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with that in the broadcast world, where, you have to sign a contract at some places, for an on-air talent thing. And I believe it's a non-compete, where you're not allowed to be, on air for a certain period of time if you break your contract with said company that you work for.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those.
So believe me, I know me and you are both in the same boat with that. So, Portia, here's another, question. If when people are looking for a home care company, what are some key things to look for? Like, maybe location, maybe, if they offer someone to come out and, have a face-to-face, or maybe because of COVID, a Zoom call to kind of do a Q&A. What are some, maybe some core questions for families and individuals to ask?
Like you mentioned, I think it's very important as well as the location. You want to, have something that suits or that basically fits around the client needs, or the client should be looking for something to fit around their needs. Especially with this COVID going on, you want to see what safety precautions is the home care taking. What are you doing to basically keep my loved ones safe? Or, if situations occur where someone calls off, or what are your policies and procedures? So you want to definitely look at the rules and regulations, kind of do your homework, ask, about the turnaround time, and just kind of get in detail, because, at the overall, this agency or this home care is taking care of your loved ones. So you want to be concerned about those type of things. And like I said, with this COVID going on, safety is number one. So that's like one of my number one questions I'll be asking. What are you guys doing with the COVID? Do you have a procedure going on? What's your safety precautions? So those are things that they definitely should ask the home care.
And then also on the lines of asking questions too, when it comes to the home care, I was thinking when it comes to someone coming out to the home to, be with the client, I mean, just hypothetically, if somebody asks about like a hiring process, do workers who work for home cares have to have certain licensures? Do they go through certain trainings in order to be hired, or how does that work?
Well, with the hiring process with our company, we're pretty thorough. So once we interview the potential employee and we, say, okay, we're going to go ahead and hire them, we make sure we do their background check. We make sure that they're CPR certified, and we do a COVID screening questionnaire on them, and we look at their stability on previous employers, and also the way they conduct themselves in the interview process. So with home care, you could be a home health aide, you could be an STNA, which is state tested nursing assistant. So you do have to have some training under your belt,
Mm-hmm.
and be familiar with taking care of people in the homes, because that's again safety. We want to make sure that you have experience in doing this. So yes, you do have to have some hours under your belt for these type of things.
Well, then also, you kind of hit the nail on the head there of having that compassion and willingness to help other people as
Yeah.
well.
hmm I mean, in this career, that's something that it has to be in you. You can't make it. You can't force it. It has to be naturally in you to want to take care of others, because if not, then it turns into that job we were speaking of earlier. You know what I mean? So you want to have a passion for doing this and taking care of others. And like I said, within the interview process, we kind of look at the way you conduct yourself, and you could kind of tell when talking to us or speaking with the person whether or not they have that caring, that just caring or passion about them for caring for people. So that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to make sure that the person that you're hiring is a fit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. You have to, because this is, especially you're running a business. You want your name to be known for good. You want your name to be known for what you stand for. So these people are going into the homes representing your company. So you want to pick the most qualified candidate.
Well, and then also, like I said, with August being Minority Business Month, a lot of minority businesses have in the past have gotten bad reputations for, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be on the, no pun intended, the blacklist.
Exactly. You don't want that. Exactly. You want to keep it, you want to keep it clean. You want to make sure, like you say, it's professional. You're running a professional business, so you want to do your homework.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Portia, currently, how many clients are you servicing as of right now?
So as of today, we have 23 clients in Cuyahoga County. Like I said, we've been open a year and a half. So for the short period of time we've been open, and we've been doing pretty well. So right now, as in counting, so 23 and counting, should I say?
Well, that's great. And like you said, considering that you've only been open a year and a half, I mean, let's kind of go back to when you got your first client. I mean, how did that work out the first day that you opened?
So, I tell people, even when you open a business, if it goes slow, do not get discouraged, because that's like normal. You have to keep pushing. And so when we first opened up, it was a little slow when we first opened up. And I say, I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm going to keep, marketing. I'm going to keep pushing out and letting people know about our home care. And so when we got our first client, we actually put these bandits out, and basically just saying, who we are and what we do for the home care services. And when our first client called, and he was actually a little further than I would have liked, but when you're the first client, you're excited. So you're like, okay, I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And we did. And so we serviced him for actually 6 months. And when I say it was like the best, I was so happy. He was happy with the services. He actually left, good comments on our Google blog. And it was amazing. And it felt good, because this is what I came out to do, and to make somebody else feel good, and to care for another person, another human being. It's just an amazing feeling. And he was very appreciative of our services. So I can say I was so excited.
And that's good to hear. I mean, that means that you took the right leap of faith then.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have to have faith, because I just feel like if you don't have that, it's not going to work. You have to have faith. And by, me being a God-fearing woman and a spiritual human being, because I have that and I kept that, and having the patience, because you have to have patience, because like I said, sometimes it can go slow. You just never know, or it can go fast for you. But if it does go slow, I just tell people, don't get discouraged, and just to keep having faith and keep pushing, and look what happened. I ended up getting my first client.
So how long did it take before you found your first client? I mean, you guys opened your doors in February of 19?
Yeah, so let's see, February of 19, we opened the doors. So I want to say it took 3 months. So about around May is really when we got the first client. And so that was discouraging. I'm just like, okay, well, we're marketing. What are we doing wrong? Where can I improve? And by you being new, you're learning every day. I don't care if you've been doing this for years, or 20, 30, 40 years, you learn something new every day. And so it took us 3 months to get the first client. But like I said, when we got it, I was ecstatic. I was so happy. I'm like, okay, something is working, to keep doing what we're doing, and it's not going in vain. So we kept pushing, and here we are now with 23 and counting.
Yeah, I mean, the little train that could, it
Yeah.
it made it up the hill.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, Portia, for joining me and telling our listeners about your home care business. And once again, can you give the website where people can check out your services and such?
Yes, they can go to www.porschas, PORSCHAS, heart.com.
All right, excellent. Thank you again, Portia. So, Portia, share one of your stories with one of your clients, like one of your most memorable that really taught you something.
I know I have so many good ones. One that really stood out that was pretty funny to me. One of my clients told me, as you get older, you can still think fast. And he said one evening he decided to go to the pond, and he had took a bucket with him, to pick some fruit. And he says he had gotten near the pond, he had heard some females shouting and laughing, just sounded like they was having a good time. And so he said when he came closer, he had seen a bunch of females. They were young women. They were skinny dipping. And so when the women had seen him, they had went deep into the pond. When they end up seeing him, they went deeper into the pond. And then one of the women had shouted at him and said, we're not coming out until you leave. And so my client told me, he said he thought for a minute and he said, I didn't come down here to watch you ladies swim or to make you get out of the pond naked. So he held his bucket up. He said, I came down here to feed the alligators. So, that just lets me know, as you get older, it gets better and clever. You get better and clever with time,
Wow, I guess they must have been the bait then.
Exactly. Imagine them running out the pond then, right?
Right, like alligators.
Yeah, so that's one that always had me laughing.
That's funny. I mean, I wonder what they thought he was carrying in the bucket. Like maybe
exactly.
Like I don't know, maybe they thought he had like washcloths or something.
I don't know what they thought, but I mean, for him, he had to think fast on that one,
Oh my goodness. I don't know what I would have. I probably would have fell out laughing. Like I probably would have fell in the pond laughing.
Exactly.
And they probably would have thought the alligator's in here. I mean, wow. That's great. That is freaking great. Like I love listening to like stories from old people. I mean, my great grandma had stories for days. Like my mom told me one about my grandma, her mom, and how she was like 3 or 4 years old. And my great grandma was trying to go out, because it's like in the 30s, so that era, the swing, the dance, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, my mom said that my grandma told my great grandma she was hungry. So my grandma, she's, coming downstairs, she's fixing her some oatmeal, she's blowing it, making sure it's cool because, she's 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
So my mom says when my great grandma was trying to feed my grandma the food, my grandma turned her lip up. And so my great grandma's like, what's wrong with you, Glow? Why don't you want to eat the food? So my grandma says, you stirred your breath in there.
Oh, no. Say no. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, what would you say if a 3 or 4 year old told you that? I mean,
oh my God. You know what? It's crazy because when you're young, you're so direct like that. You don't mean to be, but hey, they speak their mind, right?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So Portia, we're gonna be wrapping up here in a minute. What advice can you leave with our listeners today?
I would always tell anyone to put God first, no matter the situation, to let people know his word is a lamp for our feet and it's a light on our path. So whatever you want to do in life, you can succeed through Christ. So always put God first.